trying to get my butt right. Okay. Hello. Hi, guys. Oh, let me clean up a little. Hi, guys. Hi. Welcome to POV You're My Therapist, Season 2. Woo! Yes, guys, I'm back. I know. We had talked about it. I was scared I was going to quit, but I'm back. So welcome back to POV You're My Therapist, the podcast where I vent, you listen, and you do not get paid, honey. So I'm really excited about season 2. I've been looking forward to this. I have been thinking about what the first thing I was going to talk about would be. And obviously, I'm just going to give you a recap of what happened in the month that I was gone. And yeah, we're just going to talk about some things that I realized. Like, you know, I know like Kylie had said that whatever year she made that video was her year of realizing things. But this was my month of realizing things, okay? So, sorry, somebody just drove by in the obnoxious little motorcycle. Things are right back where we picked off, huh? So I'm really excited to be back with season 2. When I first started the podcast, I literally thought about quitting after 3 episodes because I do love instant gratification. Why have it later when I can have it now? I deserve it now, you know? So I was a big fan of instant gratification, still am to an extent, but I think it's been really rewarding seeing all the work that I've put in and all the frustration that I go through literally every time I sit down to record this podcast. You know, it's glad to see the fruits of my labors like show up and show out. And it's been really nice because like even though I've been on a break, I'm not posting new stuff. Like I definitely expect for the numbers to be at a certain range when I am, sorry, my eye is itchy. When I'm posting new stuff, but the fact that like you guys are re-listening to old podcasts or you're introducing people to the podcast, like it's so nice seeing that like the numbers are still there and like people still care. And like during this time that I've been gone, so many of you reached out, so many of you wrote and were saying like, hope you enjoy your break, come back soon, miss ya. So that was really nice, and I felt really appreciated, and it's really nice to feel appreciated. So I felt super appreciated. I felt really loved, and it was just nice. And I think having the podcast has really been a source of stability for me. And I think to an extent, I've taken that for granted, because I think we live in such a hustle culture. So I definitely found myself kind of being frustrated when the podcast wasn't monetized in the way that I wanted it to be. But I think it's so worth it. I think what we're building here and what we're creating is just so much more important than money. Yeah, until I make my first milli off of it. You know what I'm saying? Right. But it's really exciting, and I feel kind of reinvigorated. Still having the same problems I was having before. Literally, I sat down to do this, and I was getting so annoyed because the area that I'm recording in is still so small, and I was just I'm literally losing my fucking mind. If one more thing goes wrong, I'm gonna get pissed. And then I was looking at myself in the camera, and I was I don't look how I want to look. The double chin is double chinning. Why do I look so hot in my phone and I look so hot in the mirror? But then I put up my fucking camera to record, and I'm who the fuck is that girl? It's so irritating because I'm why is the girl in my mind not the girl out in real life? What's going on? And I had to kind of readjust to getting back on camera because I recorded 2 episodes and then I watched them back and I was this is not looking how I want it to look. What's going on? The bad bitch in my mind is not the bad bitch in real life. What's happening here? So the lighting was off, some stuff was off, some stuff that I forgot that I had to do every episode before recording. Didn't think about it, just absolutely forgot that there were things that I had to do. So I was it was, I don't know, it was only been a month. How did I forget so fucking much? Anyways, but it was a little relearning curve. So that was super fun. But we're back, we're here, and we're gonna make the most of it like we always do. My break was really good. I also have a lot to tell you guys. It's kind of crazy. My break was really good. Okay. Over the span of the month, I really thought I'm so delusional, absolutely delulu. I'm not lying. With full conviction, I truly believe that I would come back on the show, and I'd be hey guys, so this is my boyfriend. Yeah, we met during the break and he confessed his ever dying love for me. Like, I think like a little, like full Delulu part of my brain was like, that's gonna happen. Did it happen? No, but we're not gonna talk about that. So I was hoping like a lot would change because like I think like when you take a time away from being around people like that you're kind of familiar with, like my podcast audience, you kind of like want to reinvent, like you want to become a new girl. Like even though like I know that I am that girl, like I'm always looking to reinvent. I'm always looking to be like the better version of myself, to be like the better, sexier, funnier, hotter, wetter version of myself. And I always want to be that girl. And even like though when I stopped the podcast, like I really felt like I was like at the top of my game. That's so silly, but whatever. I felt like I was at the top of my game, but like a part of me was like, we can do better. Like I want to come back to the podcast and be like 15 pounds lighter. Did I do that? Absolutely not. I wanted to come back to season 2 with no double chin. She's still here, as you can tell. But I think what I did come back with are a lot of life lessons that I am excited and willing to share. So basically this last month, let me tell you how it went. Did not read a book. Did not get a boyfriend. Clearly did not die, which was so good to see. I'm so happy that I didn't die. That was really nice. And because, life is funny that way. But hold on. Stepping away from Divine's interpersonal thoughts and going into current events. Okay, going into current events. First of all, they found polio in the water in New York. When I tell you I have issues with this, because do you know how you get polio? You know where the virus comes from? Not washing your hands properly after shitting. Who the fuck, after the most previous pandemic, is still not correctly washing their hands? What is going on? I think, the mass reporting of the mass deaths stopped, the fear-mongering stopped, and you guys like stopped washing your hands. And I'm like, it's so crazy to me because like the next statement I'm going to say may be a little, crazy, and I have no regrets about it before I say it. Okay, every time I see somebody talk about that they have monkeypox, besides the couple, I saw majority of most of the people that I've seen that have monkeypox, men and women, straight, lesbian, gay, whatever, like majority of them got it from an orgy. Not one orgy, but like they're like, I had a threesome, or like I was at an orgy and I saw a weird bump on somebody's thing. First of all, I did not know that this many orgies was going on at once. I didn't know that was happening. I'm not shaming anybody. I'm very jealous. I wish I could show more than one person my naked body at a time. Cannot. Fear. There's a lot of orgies going on. I just never would have imagined that like there would be more than like one orgy going on in America at a time. That to me is the most shocking thing. Like genuinely the most shocking thing. Like I already like in my head, even though like I have had sex a lot, like that was like, was that, I don't know why I said that like that, but I was not convinced by my own statement. Even though that I have been a sexually active being, it blows my mind when I find out people have sex. Like, are we not all virgins? Like, everybody is a virgin to me. Like, you're letting people touch your cooter? Like, I don't get it. Anyways, second of all, you saw a weird bump. And you saw a weird bump on a wee-wee or a cooter. Where's my lip gloss? I'm putting on some lip gloss. Because it's just reading these statements, these Twitter confessionals. What I just don't understand. Also, why are we doing a confessional on Twitter? Why are we doing a full confessional? You can write this in your journal. do that, because the how you caught it to me is 10 times more embarrassing. Actually, no, the catching it is not that embarrassing, because I will say that, like, I feel like you can catch anything anywhere. It's not your fault. I really don't blame you. I can't blame you for that. To a point you were a victim. What is embarrassing is the amount of things you did while feeling fucking fatigued, while noticing a weird ass bump on your fucking body, erupting all over yourself. The amount of activities these people are doing in between. This one guy, he was like, he started off the thread by saying he felt like he may have had COVID. Girl, he ran every errand you could have genuinely thought about. Every single errand. Every errand. He went to the gym, even though he felt extremely fatigued. Baby, that it calls for a rest day. Stay home. He went uptown. He went grocery shopping. He went shopping for clothes. I was like, you're just spreading the monkey all around town. Like, this is what's happening? Great. Great. Good to know. Okay. That has been bothering me. And then the other issue for me is people who are dumb and thinking that you can only get the monkey by having sex. Which I'm like, no. Especially if you have something, like if you have lesions, that is something on your body that can, like, you touch something and you transfer bacteria. Like, think about how easy it is to spread a cold or like the flu. You don't think the monkey, something like, as the name is so like vicious, Monkey Pox. She's smarter than a cold. Like, I'm gonna give her that. So it's like, we're at the, oh, and then the last point that I wanted to make about the orgies, because I just can't let go of these orgies. Why are you having an orgy during COVID? It's still COVID. I want to remind people that. I think that besides the deciding to run errands, all of your errands the day that you felt the worst in your life, besides that, I think you're still having orgies during COVID is like crazy to me. I get going to parties. I get going out to clubs. I get all of that because, like, you know, you're breathing in air, whatever, you know, people like, if you have COVID, like, you're still immune to it, but like bodily secretions is a whole other game, y'all. Like, bodily, like, y'all, I remember when I was in college, I was hooking up with this guy. Our body fluids were not in tune. Our body fluids were not in tune, bro. And I'm a girl who, when I'm walking, if I smell something weird, I'm heaving. I gotta bend over because I'm nauseous. Like, that's the kind of person I am. He wasn't dirty. He didn't have STDs. He wasn't sick. He wasn't nothing. I don't know if his body fluids were just too salty. I don't know, girl. I don't know. Maybe, like, there was, like, too much adobo in his bloodstream. I don't fucking know. We couldn't. Like, we could not. Because, like, you smell fine. You're not sick. You don't have any STDs. Yet I feel like throwing up every time I kiss you, despite the fact that I am attracted to you. Yeah. So I don't be playing around with body fluids like that. Like, I don't play around with like bodily secretions like that. Like, that, I don't do that. Okay. So yeah, I'm real iffy about that shit. But yeah, so you're having like a full-blown orgy during COVID. I didn't like that one at all. Anyways, so all of that is to say we are at the pandemic. We're at the panoramic pandemic Pizza Hut combination. Like, it's the COVID, monkeypox, polio, Marburg virus combination Pizza Hut. Like, and this is my youth. Like, this is like the time for me to, like, be a whore. Like, it's times like this, like, when I'm supposed to be, like, putting my freakum dress on, my titties are supposed to be out, like, I'm supposed to, like, the only thing I really, oh my god, and then, like, Roe versus Wade, like, I'm supposed to be, like, being a whore, and, like, you know, like, my only worry is, like, to get pregnant, but, like, Mother nature is like actively trying to fucking shake us off the planet. Like, this bitch is being vicious. I saw a fucking article last night that said that the world was turning faster than it's supposed to. And I'm like, first of all, it's like, okay, it's like when you go to the bathroom to wash your hands and then you put it under the air dryer and it doesn't work. So then you got to fling the water off. She put the soap on, viruses, and she's like, this isn't working. So she's like, I'm just going to spin faster and try to flick these fuckers off. I'm like, oh my God. Like, she don't want us here. She do not want us here. And I'm like, girl, you have let people act crazy for so long. And it's now me, when I finally have the confidence to be a complete hussy, that you decide it's time for the Panorama Pandemic Panorama Pizza Hut. What? Combination? This is the time that you decide? Ma'am, slow it down. Slow the roll. Let's calm it down for 2 seconds. Like, literally, for the longest time, my mom would be trying to tell me about monkey pox. And I'd be like, listen, babe. I can only, like, deal with one pandemic at a time. Like, I'm still fucked up about COVID. Because I got COVID in May. And that bitch nearly whooped me out. She really whooped my ass. She nearly took me out. So I was like, listen, I can only, like, process one panorama at a time, okay? And then I saw the monkey pox pictures. Then I saw the pock pics. And I was like, Mom, can you, like, tell me more about this monkeypox? And she was like, no. She was like, I tried to, and you couldn't handle it. I was like, I am not ready to process a second pandemic. So tell me about the monkeypox. So me, like, not wanting to look up articles because it just feels like accepting a reality I don't want to accept. I'm, like, breaking out. And then, like, I had, like, a bumpy on my titty. And I'm like, is this a pock? And she's like, what the fuck have you been doing? She's like, only you know what you've been doing with your body. So is it a pock? And I'm like, don't do that to me. Like, every time I try to talk to her about monkeypox, this lady literally tells me to shut the fuck up. She's like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, fully. She's like, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to hear about no monkeypox from you. I tried to tell you things. You ignored me. And I'm like, like, literally the other day, I watched an ant fly through the wind, land on my foot, and bite me. And then when I was in the shower, was I still nervous that it was a monkeypox? Yes, I was. Is that absolutely unreasonable? Yes, it is. Did I still panic? Yes, I did. Like, I just can't take it. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, I'm totally like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Like, the other night, I decided to be brave, and like, I kissed this really cute boy on the cheek. And like, after like the utter elation and the euphoria melted away, I was like, monkeypox. Monkeypox. The monkey. The curious George. Like, fear. Utter fear. I can't do this anymore. Like, I want to go back to a time when my biggest worry was, let me think, like 2016. Like, no, Trump was there, so there's a worry there. I was really scared of that little orange toad. I want to go back to a time where, like, I wasn't worried about the president, where I wasn't worried about a pandemic, a virus. Where, you know, I felt loved, I felt appreciated, I felt sexy. Okay, it's come to me now that that time has never existed. So maybe it will come in the future. We'll manifest it with full conviction that there will be a time where I don't have to worry about multiple viruses, the earth trying to spin faster so she can fling us off, a stupid president. Because, like, I'm not going to lie, like, I'm still worried about Joe Biden. Like, he's just, like, a little old. And, like, I keep seeing these tweets about Kamala being in the White House getting a silk press. And I'm like, I want to weep, but also I want to laugh. So I'll just weep and laugh. I don't want to worry about the president. I don't want to worry about pandemics. Feeling sexy. We're there. We're feeling sexy, feeling smexy. You know, we look good. We're cute. Even though, like, I have my moments, which will be a conversation for a different time, because I was actually going to talk a little bit about body image today, but, like, you know, I feel good right now, and I don't want to bring myself down at this very moment. But, like, I feel good where I feel confident and sexy. So we got, like, 2 out of 5. So we just need progressive presidency, no viruses, no POC or COVID, like none of them. And then, you know, like another, like a summer of just like really great albums. Life would be good. Life would be so good. Okay. But yeah, so that was everything going on in my head regarding popular culture. Like, I think the thing that I was like worrying the most about is monkeypox. And then, like, I was thinking about it, and, like, the way that the world is still moving, as if, like, it's very much reminiscent of, like, when COVID first began. Like, it's just doing the same mistakes over again. Like, they're like, oh, it's not an issue, it's not a crisis. The, like, country is not recognized, the country, like, the federal government is not recognizing it as a crisis, but individual states are, and New York being one of the first again. Oh my God, it's like, girl, do we have to do this whole song and dance again? Or did you not learn the choreography the first time, Tawanda? Like, oh my God. That was a TikTok reference, okay? Like, learn the steps and, like, I can't take it. Sometimes I feel crazy. Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one with sense. Maybe I should be the president of the United States of America. Okay? Everybody gets $5,000 a month. Actually, little things $1, big things $5. Always a rule I would love to live by. Really, really big things $10. House is $20. Okay, and this is not a deflation situation. This is like current economic status. Stop. And you know, what would we do? What else would I do? If Divine was president of the United States of America, what would she do? Okay. All of, like, the hottest boys in America would have to audition for my cabinet positions. I'm not even going to go into this because I feel like it's just going to get absurd. But yeah, no, if I was American... I was about to say if I was Captain America. If I was the president of America, I would shut the shit down. The shit would be shut down. Everybody that got the monkey, I'm so sorry. Y'all are being locked in your homes. Being fed TV dinners until that shit go away. I heard a rumor. I don't even know if this is true, but like early in COVID, Russian people kept like leaving their house during lockdown, so they released tigers and lions into the fucking streets. Yeah, that seems like a good idea at this point, because really, you're just gonna run your whole errand list while you feel like death and you have random spots showing up on you, and this is in July and you've been hearing about the monkey since May. Like, the people, they vex me. I don't understand it. It gets on my nerves. Either way. But this month, what I realized was, with the help of my handy dandy therapist, I low-key was spiraling. I low-key was spiraling a lot this month. And I was really confused because I didn't understand why I was spiraling. I was like, I'm going to take a break. It's going to be such a nice respite. Like, I am going to feel so rejuvenated, so invigorated when I come back. That is not what was going on. I thought like it was going to be such a period of calm. No, I found myself in like full crisis mode, like absolute crisis mode. And the thing was, like, I had so much time on my hands now because, like, obviously, like, I work, but like you have time outside of work, and like I was going out with my friends and like doing stuff like that. But the things that I wanted to get under control during the break, like going back to the gym, getting my eating habits under control, because I was fully blown into my eating disorder. So that was super duper fun. And I was like, I'm going to take this time to manage these things. I'm going to start writing again. I'm going to start on so many projects that I've been putting off because, you know, I just haven't had the time for it. I really thought that that was what was going to happen. That was not what happened at all. Very far from it, actually. The amount of time that I wasted, it was just unreasonable. And I started getting very frustrated with myself because I was like, bitch, you know the things you have to do. Can you please do them? Like, it got to the point where I was literally begging myself to do the things that I needed to do throughout the day, but I could not get the motivation to do them. And like, it even got to the point where I was like, oh my God, is my medication working? Like, am I okay? Like, I ended up like talking to my psychiatrist, and like, I don't like my psychiatrist. Full disclosure, I don't like her. I'm so sorry. I don't like her. And the reason why is because when I first met her, she literally wanted me to just like start telling her all of my like secrets, like all of my pain and like all of my trauma. And I was like, you were literally asking me to pop my pussy on the first date. I don't fucking know you, lady. And for that left a horrible taste in my mouth. But she did diagnose me correctly, so I was okay with that. But like, I hate having to talk to her. I'm so sorry. I know that's not how it's like, is that how it's supposed to go? Because I don't think I know anybody who likes their psychiatrist. I'm just saying, I don't like her. Like, and then one time, oh my God, I was so offended by this lady, which is why she's a psychiatrist and not a therapist, okay? She was like, what is like the source? Because like my medication worked for like 2 days. And then I was spiraling again. And I was spiraling for a hot, like 3 weeks. So I was like, okay, it's not me. This shit is not working. So I had to be changed. I had to change medications. And when I was talking to her and I told her, because I know what's going on with my body. Like, I'm not out of sync like that. I told her, I was like, I feel like there's certain parts of it that are working. Like, the anti-anxiety was working for a while. I wasn't feeling depressed, but like I was feeling like I felt like kind of like my feelings were not where I'd like them to be. And she was like, well, what is the source of your feelings? And I was like, it's just loneliness. Like, it's a lot of loneliness. And I guess that's situational. So, you know, if I'm lonely, I have to force myself to go out. But then it's like I don't have the motivation inside, like the energy to do it. So I'm like, maybe that's like linked to like obviously having depression. She was like, you can stop being lonely on your own. She was like, you really can actually just not be depressed. And I was like, okay. I wasn't like saying that to get more drugs. Like, that wasn't the point. Like, I was hoping that like we could have a conversation about like my loneliness and like what I could possibly do to like fix that, like how to remedy it. But like, now you're telling me that I'm making a choice to be lonely. Like, I don't really like that one. I didn't like that. And then I told my therapist about it, and my therapist was like, no, let's talk about it. And I was like, baby, that's why I love y'all. Like, yeah, let us talk about it. Like, you get me. So I don't like her. I don't like my psychiatrist. Love my therapist, however. And that is why I will happily replace any appointment that I have to have with my psychiatrist with my fucking therapist. Like, don't like that lady. But either way, that's not the point. So and she overshared one time. We're moving on from this. So I was talking to my therapist, and like we went in deep into it, and I was like, I just don't understand what's going on, because like I'm not sad, I'm not depressed. I want to have better control over myself and to like have the discipline to do the things that I want to do, but like, why can't I do it? Like, I feel so fucking at odds with myself. Like, I want to fight me like a lot, because I'm just like, damn girl, do the things you got to do. And my therapist was like, she basically explained how she had kind of been noticing that like I used the things that I have to do every day as a distraction from my feelings. Didn't know that was happening. Shocking. So basically, at the end of the day, I thought I was healed. I thought I was a healed gal. But the truth of the matter was, I was just suppressing my pain. I was suppressing my issues with other issues that had resolutions. Yeah, super fun to find out. Hated hearing that. Yeah. So then we worked through that, and she was like, basically, you're like a kid who needs discipline, and you are trying to discipline yourself, but like, it's like you're, again, like you're the two sides of your mind. You're constantly at odds, and you're constantly fighting with yourself. And which is so fucking true, because like the way I was raised, it was either I had no parents or a million parents. Like I was the baby of the family, like, and not just my immediate family. Like I was the youngest cousin, like by a long shot. And I was like the baby, like all the aunties loved me, all the uncles loved me. So like for a while I was a spoiled brat, and I live with my grandma. So, you know, she ain't finna whoop me. The fuck? She ain't finna whoop me. Duh. Like my sister was basically my caretaker for a while. Like it was like the different influences. It was like having a lot of influence. It was like having a lot of cooks in the kitchen, and they're arguing so much about what to cook that they don't cook. So I like the things that you learn as like a child when you have like a very stable upbringing, like you wake up, you make your bed immediately. That was not a thing that I learned. Like I was literally a feral little child. But I had to like teach myself these things as I got older, as I was like, and noticing like, oh, I feel better when my bed is made versus when my bed is not made. I feel better when my room is clean versus when my room is not clean. Like it was a lot of that. And like kind of having to learn like basics on my own, and like even like being in touch with my feelings and stuff like that. Like I guess like one day I'll go deeper into like my upbringing, that situation, but it was weird. Like it, you know, sometimes you watch movies and you see like these wealthy kids who like aren't taken care of because their parents are so busy. It was like that, and then it wasn't like that. And then it was like that. And then it was the opposite of that. Very vague. Yummy. Good for me. But yeah, so then my therapist basically was like, here's what you can do to fix it. Here's how we're going to fix it. Everything's going to be all right. This is just a part of life. And I was like, great. And like, it was so annoying because like every time I thought that like, I was like, oh my God, yes, she doesn't have daddy issues. Kill that. No mommy issues. Kill that. Self-esteem issues, we're killing it. And then like when I think I'm good, somebody comes knocking and they're like, hey girl, do you remember this one thing that happened when you were like 7 that I suppressed really far in your mind? No? Let me remind you. It's like so annoying. Like every time you think like you're doing a lot better, there's something else. But at the end of the day, you are doing better because you're doing a lot better than where you fucking started. So that's like the saving grace that I have to constantly remind myself. And like honestly, I think what I really had to get a grasp on and like get a grip on this break was just that to have a little bit of grace with myself, to be kind to myself, and to also remind myself that you never know what's going to happen in the next moment. Like, and that can either be good or bad, and to just kind of love the moment that you're in right now, and to not stress too much about what's going to happen. Because you know, I've been trying to listen to my intuition a lot more, and I don't even know if I like went over this like the last couple podcast episodes. I think I did. It was the whole McDonald's Wendy's situation. But I've been very in tune with my emotions and my intuition, and like just trying to listen to like what I've been calling my first thought. And like, if I get a second thought, how does that compare to my first thought? And which one makes me feel better? Which decision do I feel more confident in? Or do I feel confident in neither decision, so I should do nothing? Like, and I've been thinking about that, and not in a way that's like paralyzing, but honestly in a way that I've found a lot of fortitude in and a lot of empowerment in. And like every time I have made a decision with my intuition going on my first thought, it has been the right decision, or it's felt right for the time being, and I so far have had no regrets about it. And it's been a way, that was my shoe, and it's been a means of like protecting myself and like and taking care of myself and really treating myself with the respect that I've always deserved. Like, something that happened over this break was there was a guy that I used to hook up with, and every time I'd see him out, like he would just ignore me and like be really rude, and like even though we were running in the same circle of people, like he just like pretended like he didn't know me. And you know, for a while, like, that kind of hurt my feelings because I was like, I would never do that to somebody else. But then I realized that the reason why I would never do that to somebody else is because I respect myself, and that I respect people no matter who they are or what they've done. I always have a level of respect for people. And I know that that is not something that I can expect out of everybody, especially with this shithead, knowing all of the things that I've known about him. So it's like, can you really expect much from him? No, you can't. So why are you wasting your emotions being disappointed in that? And thinking about certain things in that way is such a huge thing for me, because way back when, the way I would have thought about that was literally thinking, oh my God, what did I do? I wonder if I did something wrong. What can I do to fix it? I immediately would have been seeking validation in a situation that doesn't deserve my attention or thought, like, at all. Like, this is not somebody whose validation I want at all. And I found myself a lot of times really wishing for a lot of people's validation, even though deep down I think I knew that I didn't want it or that I didn't need it, but I didn't know what the opposite of not needing it was. So I would search for it really deeply and make a complete fucking fool of myself. So that was like one thing that happened. And then also, like, I watched, it was just so silly, but I watched this TikTok, and this girl, her name on TikTok, hold on, let me give her the proper shout out. Her name is Hoodwinkler. And I remember that because she came up on my, she was live yesterday and her little bubble popped up. But her name is Hoodwinkler. And she was talking about how when you're manifesting, you really have to say what you want with conviction. And she was like, the difference between having conviction and not having conviction is simply believing that the thing will happen. Have you seen it happen before? Even if it didn't happen to you directly, have you seen it happen to other people? You have to genuinely believe that these things are possible, and that and you're giving away to that, and you're absolutely accepting that, as opposed to having so much friction that kind of goes against what you're manifesting and being like, yeah, I really want this thing, but I don't know if it's going to happen to me. I don't think it can happen to me because, you know, I haven't had that experience. But it's like, you want it because you know it exists, because you've seen it happen for other people. So instead of accepting that, oh, it hasn't happened to me, you kind of have to like shift your perspective and accept that it has happened to other people, and know that the same thing is possible for you because you're no different than those other people. And I really love that because I never thought about any of it in that way. And so I was like, I'm gonna fall in love. I'm gonna fall in love. I'm gonna be in love, and I'm gonna accept all of these great things that are possible to happen for me. And then, you know, certain things happened, and I realized that my train of thought once again went from, oh, I did something wrong, I'm never gonna find love, I'm never gonna find anybody, I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life, to being like, oh my God, the secret of the world, the eighth wonder of the world, is that these niggas literally do not deserve me. It's crazy. It's crazy. These niggas don't deserve me. Like, I really think about that. Like, I've been thinking about things like so fluidly and so clearly. And I'm like, I did this. His reaction was this. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Like, I did something nice for you, your reaction was bad, now I feel like I did something wrong. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? You must be crazy. And by you, I mean me. I must be crazy for thinking I'm wrong and that I did something not right. No. And like, you know, recently I got into like this whole thing with a friend of mine who is no longer my friend. And like a couple of my friends like were like, you know, like trying to give me advice and all this stuff. And they were like, well, do you think the friendship is worth saving? Do you think this is worth saving? And I was like, as they were asking me, do you think the friendship was worth saving? I started smiling because I was like, and I looked at them, I was like, if this was a dude, like literally replace the fact that it's a woman with a guy. If this was a guy and they were saying shit like this to me, what would you tell me? Would you ask me if the friendship was worth saving? You would be like, fuck this guy. Fuck him. Never speak to him again. Block him, as a matter of fact. Block him. And the minute I said that, literally, like the friend I was talking to, she was like, no. She was like, yeah, that's just unacceptable. Like, I'm not going to accept something that is so disrespectful to me because I need to be kinder to somebody else. at the end of the day, I have to be kind to myself, and I have to be the one who decides what kindness means to me and isn't told what kindness means to me. So I would have so many of these situations where I did something really nice for somebody, and there was no reciprocation. There was no care. It was like volatile. And then I'm upset because like I'm hurt, but then I'm trying to fix it because it makes me feel like I did something wrong. And it's like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, these niggas really don't deserve you. Like, a lot of people don't deserve people. And like, and you know, sometimes like when I'm thinking like this and like when I'm going through these things, I'm like, oh fuck, like it must be me because I'm the common denominator. But I think in everybody's realm, like in everybody's universe, it can be them or it cannot be them. And like, and I think the deciding factor of that is the fact that somebody might do something really shitty and shady to me, right? That doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. It makes them a person who is either not accepting the lessons that the universe needs to teach them, or they don't like themselves, so they're fucking projecting like fuck. Okay? And that's like, the projection thing is something that I've always noticed. Like, because I am an observer, and like I sit back, like I'm not, like, I always feel awkward like when I'm spewing. The only time I spew is on the podcast. So a lot of like what I do when I'm out is like I'm observing, and like I'm not observing because, you know, I need, I don't know, reconnaissance or something. I'm observing simply because, to me, I don't have much to say. I'd rather listen to what you're saying. But being a person who's a listener and who listens to a lot of what people say and who listens to a lot of fucking arguments all the damn time that don't involve me, the one thing that I always constantly realize is like, people have a lot of hard lessons to learn because life is hard, and it's many minutes and seconds and days and hours and years. And there's things that happen to us that like affect us, that make us think differently about ourselves, and that kind of put us in this very small place. And we know what the small place is, and we're so desperate to get out of it, then we don't necessarily know how to like handle the lesson that to take from that. Like, something horrible may have happened, and like I'm not saying that every horrible thing there is a lesson to it, but every horrible thing that happens, you can either come stronger or weaker. And sometimes we cause so much friction with the strength that we can gain from a situation that we kind of victimize ourselves. And that's one thing that I've learned about myself, is that sometimes when I catch myself like in these situations with friends or men or whatever, they do something horrible to me, and instead of standing up for myself, I immediately become the victim. And not only am I the victim, but I'm also like trying to remedy the situation, trying to fix it, when what I should have done was act out and be like, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? And honestly, recently I did that, and like people did not have a good reaction to that. And I was like, that's not my fucking problem. You're not going to come to me crazy. After I admitted I was in the wrong about something, I apologize, and you still gonna come at me crazy? That makes you in the wrong. I don't have to accept your abuse just because I misspoke once or I fucked up once. That doesn't happen. You don't get to do that. And I'm not gonna just sit here and take it and be a victim because I was guilty for about 2.7 seconds, but this whole situation has transpired into like craziness. So no, we're not gonna do that. That's not something we're gonna do. I respect myself enough to not deal with any of that bullshit, and I respect myself enough to remove myself from these situations when these things are happening. So yeah, that was a lot of what I was learning over the break. And like, I think like I've really found like a new respect for myself because like, dude, I'm going to give myself the credit of admitting that what I'm doing is hard. What I'm doing is hard. It is really hard to look at yourself in the mirror all the time and to admit what your problems are and to actively work on them. Like, I don't know why I'm like this, and honestly, I'm grateful for it. I don't care that I'm like, I don't have an issue with it. I don't have an issue with it. I'm happy that like I went to therapy when I did because I knew that nobody else was going to help me. Nobody else was going to fix me. And I think it was being a victim for so long and being like, oh my, where's my help, y'all? Like, somebody gonna save me. But then I realized like nobody's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you because nobody cares. So you have to be the person who cares the most about yourself. You have to care so much about yourself that you say, fuck everything else. Fuck all the other circumstances. I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm not going to wait for anybody else to take fucking care of me, because you're never going to do it right in the way that I need to be taken care of. So I'm going to be the first person to take care of me. And honestly, that's that. That's just that. And I think like that thought maintains steady in everything. It maintains steady in your friendships, your relationships, and all of it. Like, you really can't rely on other people to save you, to care for you, because one, they're never going to care for you the way that you specifically as an individual organic human need to be taken care of. And that's what I realized. Like, friends can give you a little bit of something, and if you ask for something more, they can give you some of that. And the same thing goes for relationships. But at the end of the day, they're never going to be able to do it 100%. They might be able to do it like 80%, and that's like a really good figure if you're lucky. But some people can't even do it 5%. And like, for me, like 5% is not enough. And I'm just like, dude, like, get the fuck out of my face. But because I know, like, and on the other end, I'm giving like at least 80%, like at the least. So yeah. So that was a lot that just came out of me just now. Wow, that was a nice little bit of word vomit. Do I regret saying any of that? I think the answer is a solid no. But yeah, so, you know, it's been a time. I feel like, weirdly enough, in the short amount of time, I've learned a lot about myself than I have like in any other amount of time, if that makes sense. But yeah, you know, some juicy stuff did happen. I met a really cute boy. He's so cute. I think I have a crush, like a little bit of a crush, but I'm like kind of gonna keep it to myself because I don't feel like being embarrassed again. Like, I swear, every time I meet a guy, like, it's so annoying because they're just like annoying. Like, men are so disappointing. Until they're not, until they are. So, you know, not gonna get excited about it at all. And we're gonna keep our composure. Okay. In the words of Trisha Paytas. So, gonna keep our composure and just keep it pushing. And if, you know, if something happens, it happens. If it doesn't, on to the next one. On to the next disappointment penis holder. Yay. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, besides that, honestly, what's been new? What else has been new? I don't know. Like, it's weird because I'm still in the middle of like so many things that I don't know if they're going to become transitional or not. Like, I'm still interviewing for jobs. I've had a lot of interviews. Like, a lot of them went really well. Do I have a new job? I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully. That'd be nice. You know, am I moving? I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully not. I don't want to move. So that was the very first episode of season 2. Hopefully said nothing cancelable in there. But yeah, so I'm really excited for this new era. Very excited about it. I've been working on a lot of new projects. So hopefully, you know, something comes out of this. Also, wanted to let you guys know that if you're feeling generous, if you want to donate to POV You're My Therapist, #me, you can always do so on TikTok. I have a tip jar there, or I have my Cash App linked in my link tree, which is on my Instagram at Vinefilo, VINPHILO. Yeah, coming out the gate strong, asking for church donations. Y'all be giving these crazy pastors so much money. Give me some money. Give me some cash. Give me some coin, okay? Please. That was very shameless of me, and I'm not sorry about it. Either way, if you want to give a donation, feel free to do that. But you can follow me on Instagram at VINEPHILO, and on Twitter, which is the same, VINEPHILO, and my YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can know when I post. If you're watching on YouTube and you got, if you're watching on YouTube and you got to the end, comment monkey. Comment the monkey. Or actually, no, let's make it better. Comment Curious George, okay? Jesus Christ. If you made it to the end, write Curious George in the comments. Thank you very much. And feel free to add I almost had a yellow banana emoji. What other color are bananas? Green, actually, Divine, since we want to be so smart today. So yeah, Curious George in the comments. So feel free to follow me on any of my socials. Feel free to hit me up and say hello. And what else? If you're listening on Spotify, leave a rating. If you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure that you follow my podcast on either one of those platforms so you can know when I post. And also leave a rating, leave a review if you're on Apple. I would love to hear from you guys. I tried my best to like bring the mic closer to me so you guys can hear me. And I'm also speaking with a lot of bass. I don't know if you've noticed. I'm speaking with my chest. So hopefully the volume is better because I've gotten a lot of complaints about volumes. So today very much spoke with my whole bussy. Yeah. So hopefully that made a difference. But I'm looking into like getting some new equipment, which is why I need donations. You see where we're going now. But yeah, so I am really happy to be back. I'm really excited. I love doing this with you guys. I've missed it. The break felt long, but also short. I think counting down the days to the new podcast episode made it feel short, but like every day not thinking about the podcast and thinking about how I wanted to get back to the podcast felt long. So yeah, I'm really excited to see you guys. I think it's going to be a good season. And yeah, I love you. You are my world. You made my world go round. And yeah, I can't wait to see you all next week. I love you, babies. Goodbye. Mwah. Did not put my timer on. No, she did not.